Hey guys, welcome back. This is Maverick here. Today's Monday, and so we are in for another episode of Monogatari Mondays. Today we're watching episode 9, which is also episode 4 of the second arc, which is Mayoi's arc, right? I kind of forgot about, there's like the chapter names, and then there's the arc names and book names and whatnot. It's getting all too confusing. But anyways, second arc, episode 4. Where we last left off, we see Aragi and Shinobu being surrounded by zombies? I mean, are we supposed to actually feel scared for them? I certainly don't think so. We know that both of them can take on literally hundreds of zombies if need be. So yeah, that's not really any concern here. I'm more interested to seeing how exactly they resolve the situation, right? Now, last episode I made the comment that I feel like it's really not that hard for them to actually try and go back in time once again. Aragi can just give Shinobu some of her blood, or they might travel around and find another place which has large amounts of spirits from mana gathering, right? I'm sure there's some other place on Earth that has this kind of thing. And not to mention, Aragi is being way too calm for his personality in this sort of apocalypse situation where everybody else has been killed or vanished or whatnot. So I feel like they, or Araki himself, already has an idea of what to do. Is that true or not? Let's get into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. I mean, just like jump. Why are you two acting? Oh? Rice? What? Wait, what? Who are you? Alright. Rice. I mean, zombies and rice. Well, I guess, Chinese zombies, which are kind of different from Western zombies, by the way. Chinese zombies are, adverse to a certain kind of sticky rice. But these are zombies that were transformed by a vampire, so they should be Western zombies. So why would they be afraid of? Don't question it. Don't question it. But hey, I think me acting incredulous towards a lot of this stuff should be part of the fun, right? I mean, I can't really imagine why you guys keep on watching this. So, eh. I gotta say, these songs really grow on you. The first time I heard this, I was like, meh. Fourth time I'm hearing this, I'm like, yeah, this is pretty catchy. Alright, so who are you, girl? My Jiangxi. Oh! Jiangxi! Jiang. Yeah! Jiang. Okay, Jiangxi, that is actually Chinese zombies. It's actually more pronounced Jiangsi, but okay, that's close enough. I feel like I should know you, but my Yoi? Why does her manner of speaking remind me of someone else, though? He did say. Oh, Shino? Oshino? Okay, okay. So if these are Jiangxi, okay, yeah. So if these are Jiangxi, I can see why she's using rice. But then again, it's not actually that kind of rice. It's a specific sort of sticky rice. Ooh, he knows. Why does he know? Well, I mean, he's Oshin. He's awesome, so. So this is a parallel time rail kind of thing. Alright. Travel to the future and route X. But then, why would this Oshino know about? Oh, she's still alive. Okay, so the club, eh? That was certainly an interesting animation style right there. Why do you know of that? Surprisingly. Huh. I would venture a guess and say in all worlds he dated Senjugahara. I know you? Oh. Yeah, she should be like 20 something. Well, 20? Was she actually 10 when she died? 9? 19? I mean, I do think she's of age. She hasn't changed much, even though he's adult now. I mean, if nothing else, this arc is pretty awesome and that allowed us to see, some lolly characters, younger characters of themselves, and then we also get to see older characters as well. Of course. We've got to have this kind of conversation. I mean, I highly doubt you were able to remember something from 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when you were just a small child. I'm gonna save Heart Underlaid. You probably know where she is, don't you, Shinobu? Kabukimonogatari. Hey, title drop. Alright, alright. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Oh. Huh. Yeah. Kyonshi. Oh, so in Japanese it's actually called Kyonshi? Yeah, the traditional image of these are jumping around, actually. It's actually quite funny, to be honest. That's what summons her? That sword is so unwieldy. Oh. Big boss is here. Well, you certainly look quite a mess. She even have yeah. I guess she's lost it now? Hmm. Hmm. It's indeed. Just gonna use the rest of her life to. Ah. I think they should probably head to the past of Route X right then. all she wanted. Oh my god. They're gonna try to make this right? They're just gonna... There's still a lot left though. There's one more episode as well. Saying that so nonchalantly. Wait, what? Like, where's my backpack? Well, wasn't this a nice reversal? Oh, actually, hold on a second. I think this... Huh. This only has 4 episodes in this arc. Really? Ah. Kamimashita. Ah. That has a long time coming. Oh, she was 12? Ah, the background music is actually her theme song. But, but, wait, how does this tie in with the first arc? Huh? Alright. See you guys after this. Alrighty, so that was episode 9, and as you guys can see, this is not actually recorded on the same day at the same time. I actually did the reaction to the episode itself on Monday, but some things happened, namely work. And long story short, here we are right now, right? So, a little bit delayed, but at the very least, it gave me an excuse to rewatch the episode again, which is nice, I guess, because I really enjoyed this episode. It's one of my... Well, I wanted to say that it's one of my favorites, but I think I've been saying that too much lately with all the episodes in the Monogatari series. But at least for this arc, if you will. for this arc, this is my favorite episode, if that means anything, right? So yeah, let's talk about it. And before we get into the nitty-gritty parts, I think one thing I like to mention, well, first of all, I do find it kind of amusing in a sense, in that the arc is titled Mayoi Jiangshi, but it doesn't really have much to do with Mayoi, right? She's not really the focal point of this particular arc, and the Jiangshi don't even really play that big a role here either. So kind of ironic, kind of amusing, but hey, such is life, I guess. Speaking of Mayoi, I guess it was nice in this episode to see her in her adult form. I seriously did not recognize her at first. And well, not really too much to say there, right? I think the only comment I can have is that, well, it seems that no matter what kind of timeline or route or alternate universe she's in, she always has a knack of being at the right place at the right time for Aragi, right? So here, she was at the right place to deliver the letter to Aragi, and in Aragi's original timeline, or original route, she was there just in time to warn Aragi about Shinobu and about various other things, right? So, playing a very pivotal role in Aragi's story in this Monogatari, right? So, yeah, that's basically all I have to say about Mayoi here. The Jiangshi part. So, the funny thing here is that I actually did originally question, what exactly does that mean, right? Because I did initially think about the Chinese zombies Jiangsi before, but I thought there's really no reason for them to use this kind of spelling, especially because in Japanese it's the same kind of zombie is actually called kyongshi, which was actually mentioned here by Shinobu, right? And not to mention, again, what does a Chinese zombie have anything to do with a vampire, right? Like, it makes literally no sense. But then again, when I'm watching Monogatari, I don't necessarily need it to have sense, right? There are some series where I do make a big point as to, I feel like this is illogical, this doesn't really feel right, why are the characters acting this way, etc, etc. But for a series like Monogatari, which is self-aware, it breaks the fourth wall, and it's really, seemingly random at times, right? With its serious parts, of course, but then also, adhering to the sort of random comedy aspect, which I actually do enjoy very much from other series as well. Now, with these kinds of series, I don't really question too much, like, for instance, why a particular person can survive through a particular type of damage or whatnot, or some other stuff which I would actually take more of a negative viewpoint of, if it is more of a self-serious kind of series, right? I don't know if that makes sense or not, but anyways, so sure, using Chinese zombies as the minions of Heart Under Blade, whatever, if you guys are happy, right? If they're happy about it. And once again, the rice, just a little bit of trivia, it's supposed to be a specific type of sticky rice, and not the kind of dry rice that they are just spreading all around here. The more you know, the more you know. But yeah, anyways, that's the little bit of trivia here. And then speaking of Mayoi, I mentioned different timelines and whatnot, right? So again, I'm not gonna go into too much as to the mechanics of how the entire time travel worked here. I'm just gonna assume for simplicity's sake that they are basically using a sort of multiverse kind of setup, right? Where the universe, there's basically infinite universes, and in these infinite universes and infinite timelines, you can have things, you can have a timeline of literally everything imaginable, right? Like every single thing, every single possibility that ever was and ever can be would exist in all these infinite timelines, right? Because hey, that's the definition of infinite. So it's actually a nice little cop out in fantasy works and sci-fi works if they do utilize multiverse theory, because um, it basically replaces the burden of having to deal with time paradoxes and all that. Because with any other kind of theory, except for one where maybe time is linear and what can I say? What you do is guided by fate, and it's not changeable, it's immovable and whatnot. Beyond those kind of series and those kind of settings, any kind of time travel is undoubtedly going to cause some sort of time paradox somewhere down the line. They can sort of hide it, they can try to layer it on to make it confusing, and so you might be misled by it for a while, but ultimately it is still going to have a paradox in within itself. But using multiverse, it just basically it removes all the burden. You can just say, like, whatever you do, of course you can go to a timeline where that happens, where your effects take change, because infinite universes exist, right? So yeah, basically it's just a nice way to keep the series nice and tidy, if you will. So that's why I'm just gonna assume that they're using here. But anyways, after all that, let's talk about the main meat of this episode, the main meat of this arc, which is, of course, Shinobu, right? Shinobu and Heart Underblade and their sort of relation with them. I gotta say, that scene there really impacted me. Don't get me wrong, I was expecting, of course, for Aragi and Shinobu to actually, to actually convince the Shinobu, or let's just call her Heart Underblade, right? The Heart Underblade of this world to basically give it up, or save her soul. Like, they use the term save her soul or something like that, or basically tell her to stop, right? I had no doubt in my mind that that was what they were going to do, but I figured that it might be the same as the past, and Aragi's gonna get beat up a lot again and whatnot, but still eventually come to terms with Heart Underblade, and allow the whole thing to have a resolution here, right? I wasn't really expecting her to just instantly break down the instant that Heart Underblade, I mean, to break down the instant that she saw a future where Aragi could actually coexist with Shinobu peacefully, and indeed have a pretty good relationship with each other, right? And then for her to, the feelings of regret, of sadness and whatnot, welling out from her, crying tears of blood and whatnot. That was a pretty impactful scene, I gotta admit. And just actually thinking about it, that actually made me a lot more sad for her than perhaps a lot of other series which are meant to be sad. It was very touching in a way for me. It's kind of hard to explain, but it actually, this is the kind of this is the kind of scene, this is the kind of situation which actually tugs at my heart a lot more than any sort of uh, contrived sad or tragedy kind of situation here, right? Just the things that could have been, how you missed out on it, and especially in this case, how you missed out on it by just a few centimeters, like just that little bit of a difference, and causing such a huge change in the outcome here, right? That was certainly quite, it was stunning in a way, let's say. And I guess it also really means that what caused Shinobu to basically be a shut-in for all that time was basically because she was jealous, question mark, right? Because at that time she was refusing to talk with Araki and whatnot, and then only at the very end, with Oshino leaving and all that, and then they started to have a more, I guess, agreeable relationship with each other, right? So I guess basically the sort of concession that Shinobu made was, well, no, she's not going to have 100% of Aragi's attention all the time and whatnot, but still, that is enough, right? That is enough for her. She is still going to be able to live a happy life with Araki, so on and so forth. And I think really the thing that kind of almost broke me was actually Heart Underblade asking for a pat on the head at the very end there. That's all she ever wanted. It's all she ever wanted, but it could not be, right? Like, that is sad. That is actual sadness that I feel. And even though during that, another thing I do have to commend them on, even though at that scene I was like, they can't possibly end this just like that, right? And leaving this situation and really ending in, even though you could say that her soul was saved at the end or whatever you want to call it, it's still by all means a sort of tragedy, right? Lots of the human population were wiped out. Aragi is dead. Heart Underblade is dead, and who knows who else is dead, and so on and so forth. It is a tragedy, but I do applaud them for not actually trying to make it so that it's like one big happy ending here. So I do feel like having these kinds of permanent losses is actually necessary in order for the series to have any kind of true meaning. Which is often a trap that a lot of other series fall into because they can't kill off major characters or whatnot. I mean, sure, here I think you could make an argument that perhaps this isn't really a true major character because even though it's Heart Underblade, it's not our Heart Underblade, right? But still, them deciding to leave the situation as is with them both dead and basically the world being saved, devastated but saved, and just leaving it at that, I feel like that was a correct decision there. Even though that might seem kind of cruel or whatnot, I do believe that was a necessary cruelness. So yeah, anyways, that's it for this arc, right? And in the next one, I believe we are entering Sengoku's arc. Well, supposedly, anyways, but like in this one, really, Mayuri literally showed up for like, what, 10%? Maybe not even that, maybe 5% of the entire arc. So we'll see. We shall see about that. And definitely because if I'm not remembering wrong, I mean, if I'm remembering correctly, let's say, Aragi is not supposed to return back to school yet, right? He missed the first day of school, and he missed a few days after that as well. So, even though he just finished his adventure with Shinobu to another timeline and whatnot, it seems that, from how things how things went, basically, he's probably off into another adventure immediately after this, which is in the next episode, right? So perhaps we're going to start immediately at the end of this episode and allow the story to carry on. So now we can finally find out where he actually went during the initial few days of the opening ceremony and the first days of school. So there we go. That's it for episode 9 of the Monogatari series. I gotta say though, one thing I have to mention here, even though I did say I want to make it into a sort of like Monogatari Mondays, honestly, after reviewing my schedule, especially my work schedule for this season or these few months, I do think that I will have to move this to another day. Right now, I'm eyeing Thursday instead. So, just a heads up, for the next week, I might actually be just completely moving Monogatari to be on Thursdays instead of Mondays because I really don't have that much time nowadays to make videos. So, I mean, if it is delayed, so sorry, but I will still, of course, get an episode out every week. At least that much I can promise here. Well, at least for now. Anyways, that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.